source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
Didn't graduate? I guess I blew it.
You couldn't advise him anything. He would just look at you and say, so who do you think you are?
We were just like really spoilt.
And then they just give me the receipt and I'd pay.
The guy walks in one day and then he says that he wants to make a movie.
He was blowing the money.
There was just like this habit that he had where as soon as he got money, it was gone.
I just didn't have the skills or the experience.
This money, I could see it disappear so fast.
It's a Friday, the 18th of July, 2025. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on Newsplus. My name is Francisca Msheche, and these are your top stories tonight. President Mnangagwa is expected in Algeria on Saturday on a two-day state visit where the two nations will seek to bolster trade and economic cooperation. The visit to Algeria comes after a fruitful visit to Osaka, Japan, where he warned potential investors to bring capital in the country. We'll look at the latest efforts by authorities to fight drug and substance abuse in the country, with a carrot being danged for whistleblowers. Police have confirmed the arrest of another suspect in the $4 million United States dollar heist at the EcoBank branch in Bulawayo. Details on that arrest coming up later here on Newsplus. And in sport, the Sables are on the verge of making history. They are on just 80 minutes away from qualifying for the Rugby World Cup finals. And in news in great detail, President Emmerson Mnangagwa has wrapped up a high-level working visit to Japan, a packed itinerary filled with strategic meetings, trade forums and diplomatic engagements, from deepening ties with Japanese investors to showcasing Zimbabwe's potential at Expo 2025 in Osaka. The visit was all about strengthening Zimbabwe's global footprint. Here's more.
A packed working itinerary marked President Mnangagwa's 5-day official visit to Japan, beginning with engagements at the Zimbabwe Pavilion and business meetings at the Zimbabwe Regional Trade and Investment Center. The visit centered on boosting investment, deepening economic cooperation, and promoting Zimbabwe's vast potential ahead of the Tokyo International Conference on African Development slated for next month.
Osaka is a big move towards promoting Zimbabwe's international trade. In actual fact, our foreign policy is about making the world a good place for trade. That is our foreign policy. That's why we say Zimbabwe is open for business. That's where we have to be a friend to all and an enemy to none, because we have to smoothen the world for trade.
At the inaugural Zimbabwe-Japan Business Forum, 3 MOUs were signed in tourism, mining and manufacturing, cementing Zimbabwe's intention to create mutually beneficial partnerships with Japan.
Participation by Zimbabwe in this expo has really yielded what I call results that are above expectations in advancing diplomacy and deepen our relations, strengthen our relations with Japan. Japan is very unique among countries that give donor funding to Africa. If you look at what JICA does, JICA is able to finance infrastructure. So infrastructure, for instance, that route Makuti to Chirundu into Zambia, they've been financing the development of that road. That's very unique.
The Zimbabwe delegation also met with Toyota Tsusho Corporation, which committed to expanding its footprint in Zimbabwe through vehicle and ambulance supply for health and transport sectors. They also explored assembling semi-knockdown kits locally to drive job creation.
I mean, besides, we really feel that our stand, our pavilion, was one of the best. It was well patronized. Even today, I went there, I found a queue. I was just trying to check what people were queuing for. They were queuing for, to see what we're offering, our curios, our artifacts, what we could show visually with that 3D screen. It worked very well. And then also being able to visit Zimbabwe tourism sites.
President Mnangagwa also held separate talks with Ikimi Katsuyuki, a governor of the Mie Prefecture, a region already linked to Zimbabwe through petalite exports used in traditional Japanese pottery. Meanwhile, the Zimbabwe Day celebrations at Expo 2025 Osaka took center stage. The president toured the pavilion, a showcase of innovation, culture, and virtual tourism. Thousands experienced Zimbabwe through immersive 3D and VR technology. Zimbabwe's presence at Expo 2025 not only elevated its tourism profile, but also underlined a serious push for partnerships and long-term investment.
Our correspondent Deborah Matavu is in Japan with a roundup of the president's visit. Meanwhile, President Mnangagwa is expected in Algeria on Saturday for a two-day state visit where the two nations will seek to bolster trade and economic cooperation. While Zimbabwe and Algeria have historically enjoyed excellent political relations, on the economic front, contact has been very minimal, and the president's visit is expected to set in motion several trade agreements that have either been signed between the two countries or are on the table for further discussions. Our correspondent Fungi Kwaramba is in Algeria for us.
President Mnangagwa is expected to touch down in Algeria tomorrow on a two-day state visit where the two nations will seek to bolster trade and economic cooperation. This was said by Zimbabwe's representative to Algeria, Ambassador Algiers Vosimuzi Ntonga. While Zimbabwe and Algeria have historically enjoyed excellent political relations that predate Zimbabwe's independence, on the economic front, trade has been very small. The president's visit is thus expected to set in motion several trade agreements that have either been signed between the two countries or are on the table for further discussions. A low-hanging fruit that has been identified is agriculture, specifically tobacco, Zimbabwe's golden leaf, which is arriving on the Algerian shores, albeit through third parties.
Earlier, we spoke to Zimbabwe's ambassador to Algeria, Vosumuzi Ntonga, on some of the potential areas of cooperation between Zimbabwe and Algeria.
Maybe to add on trade that there are opportunities here for horticultural products, tea, coffee, cotton, all agricultural products have a market here, but it's a very competitive market. It's not a hungry market, so we need to work on it. We need to work hard on it. They have the largest textile and clothing factory on the continent, somewhere in the west, which is a Turkish Algerian investment, and they import all their cotton requirements. So that's a huge opportunity for us. I think our cotton is high quality, and from here, of course, they have the advantage of energy, petrol, oil and gas. They are main exports. We can procure from here. We can procure lubricants. We can also procure materials for road construction, which are byproducts.
Vice President Kembo Muhadi today toured Khami prison on the outskirts of Bulawayo, a facility where he was once incarcerated alongside President Emmerson Mnangagwa during the liberation struggle. VP Muhadi was previously detained in cells 28 and 61, while President Mnangagwa was held in cell 44. The Vice President narrated how he and fellow detainees came up with a high command in prison as they continued their fight for liberation.
Came out with what we call a high command, the high command in prison here, which then communicated with the VM. She communicated with Lusaka from there. So we would generate whatever information that one generate what we wanted to pass on to Lusaka, and then some sympathetic wardens, then.
The Vice President's former inmates recounted the harsh conditions they endured under the colonial regime at Khami.
Here I was transferred here from Harare, Salisbury. That was 1960. After I've been commuted to just sentenced to life in prison. First I was condemned to death in 43 years.
We used to get some information. There were warders in the prison officers were sympathetic. Who would tell us what was happening outside, smuggle some papers, smuggle some letters. That's how we did. That's how we communicated with the outside world. But otherwise, the prison conditions were bad.
President Mnangagwa's former cell, Cell 44, has been preserved as a symbol of resilience. It now hosts a mini museum featuring memos and archival photographs. The cell was once part of a solitary confinement block, later decommissioned by human rights groups. The president was at one point moved to a pitch-dark cell, allowed just 1 hour of sunlight a day, a tactic aimed at breaking his spirit, which ultimately failed. Vice President Muhadi's visit came as the nation gears up for Heroes Day commemoration, with Khami prison standing as a stark reminder of the price paid for Zimbabwe's independence. Moving on with our stories, Pakistan outgoing ambassador to Zimbabwe, Murad Basar, has expressed his country's eagerness to support Zimbabwe's economic development. He highlighted promising business opportunities between the two nations and praised the growing collaboration, including the establishment of a Zimbabwean embassy in Pakistan in 2023. Ambassador Basar also expressed optimism in more Pakistani companies channeling investment to Zimbabwe.
I told you that Zimbabwe established its embassy in June 2023, which was unprecedented after 45 years, or we can say 43 years. Zimbabwe finally established its embassy, and that, again, the credit goes to the leadership of Zimbabwe, who have reached out to old friends like Pakistan. As I mentioned during this interaction with the Honorable Acting President, that Pakistan established its relations in its diplomatic mission on the 5th of November 1980. Since then, we've been present here, so it was very important to have the Zimbabwean embassy in Islamabad, and that is actually sort of become a catalyst in taking the relations to the next level, and that is what I'm looking forward to. Inshallah, in the next few years, you will see that rise in engagements in various sectors.
A government has pledged to reward whistleblowers who will provide information to authorities in exposing drug peddlers. Minister of Harare Metropolitan Province, Charles Tavengwa, who was represented by Cosmas Chiringa, secretary in his office, urged the public to cooperate and work with the authorities to nip the drug menace in the bud. He said the move will encourage the public to share information that will allow police to arrest the criminals around drugs.
I propose that we establish a system to reward whistleblowers who provide information that leads to the arrest and the prosecution of drug traffickers. This will help to incentivize citizens to come forward and share information with the authorities. Community policing is essential in the fight against drugs. By working together with the police, we can build trust, confidence in our communities.
Officer commanding Harare Province, Commanding Maxwell Chikunguru, said since January this year, police in collaboration with key stakeholders have carried out several campaigns, including Operation No to Dangerous Drugs and Drug Syndicates. He also said 7,991 drug peddlers have since been brought to book and face the law. Commissioner Chikunguru further said in Harare, 4,236 drug addicts have been arrested.
Police in Harare have already arrested a total of 8 companies who were in the habit of brewing illicit drugs. Let me take this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to warn all those who have chosen drug peddling as their source of living that your days are numbered. The police have stepped up its enforcement efforts by cultivating enough informants and drug surveillance techniques, and as soon the long arm of the law will definitely be upon you.
Newsplus takes a break. Stay with us.
Win big in the EcoCash Chakachaya Ziawaku EcoCash promotion with over 200,000 winners. Earn at least 20 points when you cash in, send money, buy airtime or data, make payments, receive money from the diaspora, or receive your salary via EcoCash. And you could be in the running to win an all-expenses-paid trip to watch an AFCON match in Morocco, a holiday for 2 in Dubai, solar kits, cows, fridges, gas stoves, motorbikes, cash, airtime, and so much more. It's simple. Simply transact, earn points, and win in the Chakachaya Ziawaku EcoCash promotion. Dial *151# or use the EcoCash app now. EcoCash. Live life the EcoCash way.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come.
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. The Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education has thrown its weight behind efforts to promote robotics and coding in schools, describing it as a key pillar for preparing learners for a tech-driven future. The remarks were made during the ongoing robotics and coding competition taking place in Harare, which has drawn young innovators from across the region.
From building autonomous robots to writing lines of code that solve real-world problems, these young innovators are proving that the next generation of African engineers and programmers is ready for the digital world. With young students building robots and solving real-time problems through code, Primary and Secondary Education Minister Torerai Moyo says this is exactly where the future of learning is headed.
All our students in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, in Zambia, in Mozambique, any country, we want everyone to have equal access to, technologies. We need to infuse AI into our curriculums so that everyone, even in the rural areas, should be able to do coding and robotics, not to a selected few schools.
Minister Moyo says the number of schools involved in robotics and coding should increase.
Let us capacitate our schools, supplying them with the gadgets that they require, whether they are laptops, tablets, anything. Let's connect all our schools to the internet through Starlink, through any other, infrastructure which is relevant, so that our people can dream big. because the heritage-based curriculum speaks to inculcation of critical thinking skills in our students.
The competition, organized by RoboCoder in partnership with Technician World Robotics and Robotics Challenge China, has brought together learners from Zimbabwe, Ghana, Zambia, Mozambique, South Africa, all showcasing the power of STEM education.
Right, events like this set a foundation, a base for Africa to say this is what we can do, the kind of ideas, exposure, the kind of mentorship that will come from the different companies that we partner with, engineering firms and so on and so forth. So we're trying to make sure that we groom them, they become proper engineers.
Beyond the boards and battlefields, the competition is also a celebration of regional unity, encouraging collaboration, critical thinking and cultural exchange.
If we want to build Africa, if we want to build Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Ghana and South Africa being represented here, the future is in engineering. So this competition here is preparing for the building blocks that will build engineering products, machines, and everything else that will propel this nation into the future.
At the heart of it all are the students solving problems, testing ideas, and proving that the future of African technology begins at the school level.
So it's actually a great honor because I've always thought there's nothing greater than to represent a greater cause. So I've come here representing what my school stands for, which is breeding students with brilliant, innovative minds with great technical skills that you can apply into the real world.
The competition is not just about winning, it's also about mentorship, teamwork, preparing learners for a world that is increasingly digital.
Okay, so the reason why we brought this project here, we want to look at the context of how Zimbabwe is working and how we can help our population, how we can help our environment so that we can come up with effective ways of growing out in our industry.
The competition is also bridging borders, bringing together future engineers, programmers, and inventors from 5 African nations united by their love for technology and problem solving.
I am happy and nervous at the same time because this is a really big competition, but I'm happy because I like to do what I do. I like engineer, I like programming, so I am here today to show what I can do.
As calls grow for the coding and robotics to be integrated into the national curriculum, the government is ready to work on strategies to train teachers, equip schools, and scale up access to digital tools, especially in underserved communities. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I am Talent Gore in Harare.
Authorities and stakeholders in the gaming industry have pledged to unite against threats of money laundering and financing of terrorism. Speaking during a recently held H Metro National Forum on Responsible Betting, stakeholders noted challenges that are destroying social norms where crime and theft have become a common feature. According to the Lotteries and Gaming Board (LGB), Zimbabwe has 11 casinos, 158 sports betting operators, and 26 gaming house operators. However, players in the industry are under threat from criminals and illegal operators. There is also a call to protect underage individuals from gambling, which has also seen them committing crimes at tender ages. More in the following report.
Africa is experiencing significant growth in gaming, and Zimbabwe is no exception. But the rise in crime like money laundering, theft, and suicide has raised eyebrows, and a call for mitigation measures has been made.
There is threat of money laundering and financing of terrorism, so the industry faces a threat of money laundering. And we are also working with FIU to mitigate those threats that are happening.
Chief Executive Officer for BestBets, Robson Chinamasa, called for the monitoring of some of the punters who bring huge sums of money.
They need to know at managerial level, at shop level, they need to know their customers. This is so and so, this is so and so, this is so. And your cashiers, they actually then know their customers. They know that this person comes here every day. They come and bid for $1. They come and bid for say $5. And all of a sudden that person is coming to pay for $100 or for $200 or for $500. Raises a flag. Then you need to know what has happened.
Bekezelan Shumba from the Lotteries and Gaming Board said there's a nexus between gambling and criminality, where most gamblers end up turning to drug and substance abuse due to excessive betting.
So drug use may fuel reckless gambling, while gambling losses can drive someone further into substance dependency.
Blessing Chutare from the casino industry feels that punters should gamble within their means to avoid criminality.
You are not disturbing your life cycle, including your social, your normal day-to-day activities. Also, you are not affecting your work in the way of not being able to function at work.
Escalation doesn't announce itself. It happens incrementally. From once-a-week betting to daily benches, from occasional use to secret dependence, emotional tolerance builds. The same activity offers less relief. More is needed. The stakes get higher, the substance use stronger, and the risks get sharper. Latho Nyangu for Zitten Prime in Harare.
Now on to some crime stories. Police in Zimbabwe have confirmed the arrest of 39-year-old Begani Mlilo in Botswana in connection with the $4 million United States EcoBank heist. Authorities say the suspect was caught on July 14th while attempting to enter the country from South Africa. His arrest comes just days after Abraham Temai Vumbunu and Elijah Temai Vumbunu were apprehended in South Africa in connection with the heist. In a statement, police said extradition process for Mlilo is now underway as investigations and efforts to track down more suspects are still active. Now into some agriculture stories. Over 120 smallholder tobacco farmers from Mangwe and Bulilima districts in Matabeleland South have earned more than 140,000 from sales of naturally cured Virginia tobacco. Most of the growers are women and widows who sold their crop at the new auction floor set up at the Beachman World Training Center in Marula, the first of its kind in the province. Our Bulawayo correspondent Andile Chuma gives us more.
This community in Mangwe district dared to dream and ventured into unfamiliar territory. People here have made history, experimented with a crop which never before had been grown in this region, tobacco. The experiment is paying off in a way they never imagined. After a season of hard experimental work, the farmers here are smiling all the way to the bank. One new farmer, Juliet Muzengezi, said she's now able to send money to her children in South Africa and is trying to convince them to come back and join her in the project. Sylvia Mkandla sees this new venture as an avenue for young people to acquire new skills and an income which can help fight vices such as crime and substance abuse.
ngokubona ukuthi abadala bangenile ngibona ngana abantwana bazangena labo basizakale kube yidevelopment ekhona esigabeni njalo izenze ukuthi abantwana bengangeni kuzidakamizwa benze ukuthi bahlale bephathekile emsebenzini.
The farmers sold their crop at the new auction floor set up at the Beachman World Training Center in Marula. The facility opened in May, marking a major milestone in the region's agricultural transformation. The first ever Mad South auction floor was recently officially opened by the Deputy Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Honorable Vangelis Haritatos, who held the program for decentralizing commercial agribusiness and bringing empowerment to Mad South farmers.
Let me begin by commending the Tobacco Industry and Marketing Board, or TIMB, and its partners, most importantly Atlas Agri, for spearheading the expansion of tobacco into the non-traditional tobacco region of Matabeleland South. Their work aligns perfectly with our ministry's fourfold mandate of ensuring, firstly, food security and food sovereignty, secondly, nutrition security, thirdly, livelihoods improvement, and fourthly, economic development.
TIMP says more than 70,000 kilograms of naturally cured Virginia tobacco have been sold in Marula, generating over 141,000 United States dollars and proving that tobacco farming is now a viable economic activity in semi-arid zones once considered unsuitable for the crop.
So it's a huge opportunity, and this is putting, even on a hectare, you're putting another $2,500, $3,000 in the pocket of a farmer, which is a huge amount of money for people who live in marginal areas.
Launched in the 2023-2024 season with just 17 farmers, the initiative has expanded to 122 growers under contract with private partner Atlas Agri and the Tobacco Industry and Marketing Board. TIMP, in partnership with Agritechs and Atlas Agri, is training farmers and extension officers to boost yields and quality through best farming practices.
The initiative was set forth over 5 years ago, and Atlas Agri born 3 seasons ago, and we are fully supporting the transformation plan and furthering the development of the tobacco trade within the Zimbabwean community, hence moving all the way down into the Matabeleland South region where we're growing a natural Virginia.
Unlike the Mashonaland provinces, which dominate flu-cured tobacco production due to higher rainfall, Matabeleland South faces frequent droughts, poor soils, and erratic weather. But the success of NCV tobacco in the province is redefining the region's agricultural potential, bringing new income streams and opportunities to rural households. For ZTN Prime, I'm Andile Chuma, recently in Marula, Matabeleland South.
Newsplus will be back with more stories. Stay with us.
Call for public nominations for persons to serve on the Zimbabwe Media Commission. The Committee on Standing Rules and Orders of the Parliament of Zimbabwe is mandated in terms of Section 237(1)(b) of the Constitution to invite the public to nominate candidates for possible appointment by His Excellency the President of Zimbabwe to serve as commissioners on independent commissions. The term of office for the current commissioners of the Zimbabwe Media Commission will soon expire, resulting in 8 vacancies. In light of this, the Committee on Standing Rules and Orders, CSRO, invites the public to submit nominations for individuals to be considered for possible appointment to the Commission. The functions of the Commission and the person specifications are outlined below. 1. Zimbabwe Media Commission. Person specification for appointment to the Commission. Nomination material must consist of a typed submission of no more than 1 A4 page stating why the person nominated is a suitable candidate, together with a detailed curriculum vitae and a nomination form which can be obtained at the new Parliament of Zimbabwe office, Mount Hamden, Human Capital Department, 3rd floor, room 340, or downloaded from the Parliament website www.palzim.gov.zw. Nominations must be addressed to the Clerk of Parliament in sealed envelopes marked Zimbabwe Media Commission. These may be emailed to clerk@palzim.gov.zw or posted or hand-delivered to the Clerk of Parliament, Parliament of Zimbabwe, New Parliament Building, 2nd floor, Records and Information Department, room 201, Mount Hamden, or by post at P.O. Box CY 298 Causeway, Harare. The closing date for submitting nominations is 16:30 hours on Friday, 25 July 2025. Parliament of Zimbabwe, a SARS 2001-2015 certified organization.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now on to some health issues. The debate on sexual and reproductive health and rights issues is not only relevant to students but to all stakeholders. Issues under the spotlight include early sexual activity, maternal mortality, contraceptive use, HIV, teenage pregnancies, economic factors, limited access to services and culture, and that a higher percentage of young people are sexually active before the age of 18 in Zimbabwe, while the World Health Organization puts the HIV prevalence at 12.8%, is reason to discuss the future. More in the following report.
When it comes to cooking, there's one thing we can all relate to.
These young debaters are shaping the future of leadership, especially on sexual reproductive health issues. SASI debates are more than just a battle of weeds, but they are the breeding ground of future direction and ideas.
I'm from Manicaland State University of Applied Sciences. So from this competition, I've had to intensively put a lot of effort so as to find out about other topics that I normally don't read. So as the youth, normally when we go on social media, when we buy data, it's usually to just look for the trending stuff, the stuff that doesn't build, nothing much to do with development or anything. But because of this debate, I managed to find out about some things that I never even thought of.
As they speak, they reveal their thought process, leaving little room for doubt. This in many ways helps them think on their feet and respectfully challenge opposing views. Debates like this promote gender equality, empowering young women to take center stage and voice their opinions in a world that often tries to silence them.
These are not just academic exercises. They are life skills, they are leadership skills, and they are skills that will find and found a Zimbabwe that is gender equitable, a Zimbabwe that we all aspire towards. As Zimbabwe Gender Commission, we extend our appreciation.
Can we safely say the future is in safe hands? Is there a real impact made after these?
You have all won. I've seen your work, I've seen how you're thinking outside the box, and I applaud you for all the efforts. You have demonstrated courage, you have demonstrated intellect, you have shown commitment to justice and gender parity.
The most important thing is for these young ones to stretch each other, challenge the status quo, and grow. The Nyarazo group believes in these young ones.
The SAS debate is more than just an academic competition. It really mirrors reflecting the challenges, hopes, and possibilities of our society through the lens of the youth. To the students of fraternity, we see you, we celebrate you.
I'm definite about it, but mine is quite abroad.
As these prepare to take on the world's most pressing issues with confidence and conviction, it's up to the relevant stakeholders to continue giving them support. That way, their dreams and aspirations can be realized for better. For ZTM Prime, I am Setachisiwe Gwaza.
Now for your weather update to get prepared for the weekend and the week ahead. We are joined live by Christine Bander, a meteorologist with the Met Department. Good evening, Christine, and thank you so much for joining us on Newsplus. Have we seen the peak of winter yet, seeing we are already past mid-July, heading into August?
Zimbabwe has indeed experienced an intense cold spell in the early month of July, with areas such as Marondera and Matopos recording sub-zero temperatures of as low as -4 degrees Celsius. And as winter peaks, these cold spells are expected, especially in high-altitude areas, with frost likely in most areas, and the residents are kindly advised to continue taking precautions like layered clothing, heating safety, protecting livestock and crops from extreme cold, and we are currently advising you to stay updated with the Met Department for frost warnings. Tonight, cool moist air from the southeast coast of South Africa will bring cloudy, windy and cold conditions over the southern region of Zimbabwe. Areas such as Chipinge, Nyanga, Masvingo and Gwanda may experience drizzle and light rain. Frost remain probable in high altitude areas such as Harare, Marondera, As we get into next week, a warming trend is expected over the southern regions of the country as the cool moist air shifts further north, increasing cloudiness and lowering maximum temperatures for the northern regions of the country, particularly for Harare, Matopos and Mount Darwin. Meanwhile, to the south, drier and milder conditions are expected, with temperatures increasing slightly as the day progresses. Nights remain still chilly with chances of slight ground frost.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
In business news, traders and individuals who import and export goods that require licenses will now enjoy a seamless experience as Zimbabwe takes the customs clearance system online, eliminating the need for physical visits to authority offices. The Zimbabwe Revenue Authority made the announcement today at a media sensitization workshop in Kadoma. Our reporter Sharon Munjenjema has more details.
Import and export license applications and other customs processes are now being done on the Zimbabwe Electronic Window System website. The rollout of the system is in progress and is being implemented sector by sector. Currently, the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority team is extending it to the National Ozone Unit, which handles permits for the purchase of gases used in the refrigeration and air conditioning sector.
The system has already been rolled out. As we have the Port Health under the Ministry of Health and Child Care, which is already on the platform. Then we have the Radiation Protection Authority of Zimbabwe, which is already also using the platform. Then for our exporters under the electronic platform for exporters, where one needs a certificate of origin to export, then to enjoy preferential rates.
The introduction of this digital system is expected to significantly reduce the turnaround time for application processes and minimize opportunities for corruption. In recent years, several cases of corruption have been reported in customs clearance processes, highlighting the need for a more transparent and efficient system.
We have removed or minimized human-to-human interaction, like for the general public to interfere or to talk with an officer, let's say a ZIMRA officer or an ODS officer or a Port Health officer. It has been minimized to an extent that they only communicate through the system and every record is taken. So we have reduced or removed human-to-human interaction because everything should be done in the system.
As the system is being rolled out to the National Ozone Unit, the department's manager, George Chaumba, anticipates the new platform will help combat trade and smuggling of dangerous gases. Zimbabwe is currently in the process of phasing out certain gases used in refrigeration and air conditioning considered harmful to the environment. This move aligns with the Kigali Amendment to the Montreal Protocol, which Zimbabwe is a signatory to.
The Montreal Protocol specifies that all countries should establish and implement a licensing system for the control and monitoring of these substances that deplete the ozone and contribute to global warming. Because Zimbabwe and many other countries do not produce these substances, so we rely on imports. For our imports, we have been relying or using the manual system.
The Montreal Protocol mandates member countries like Zimbabwe to phase out use of hydrofluorocarbon gases used in refrigeration and air conditioning in favor of less harmful gases. These gases contribute to climate change and deplete the ozone layer, which protects the earth from the sun's ultraviolet radiation, causing skin cancer. Shira Mujenjema for CTN News in Kadoma.
Moving on with our business news, Edgar Stores Limited has posted a modest 3.2% increase in group revenue for the half year ending 6 July 2025 despite inflation, exchange rate volatility and weak consumer demand. Revenue climbed from 850 million ZW to 878 million ZW driven by stronger retail performance and higher manufacturing output. The main Edgar's chain recorded a 3% revenue increase while Jet dipped slightly and Express remained stable, adding 3 new stores. A financial analyst
ability to sustain revenue growth despite persistent currency volatility in the Zimbabwean economy is commendable. So this resilience can be attributed to several strategic factors. First, the company has likely benefited from Zimbabwe's growing use of the US dollar, informal retail transition. So this helps cushion revenues against the rapid depreciation of the local currency. So by implementing a dual pricing model or pegging prices in USD, the company has managed to stabilize its earnings in real terms. And additionally, the group's strong brand equity and broad product offering focused on affordable fashion and essential clothing has helped to retain a loyal customer base.
Zimbabwe is set to intensify the rollout of a homegrown smart traffic management system designed to detect broad spectrum of traffic offences from red light violations and speeding to illegal parking, wrong-way driving and failure to wear seatbelts. The system will also monitor improper lane changes and other common infractions in a bid to curb reckless driving and enhance road safety. Appearing on the Mint, tech expert Emmanuel Maguranyanga said the transport system will ease traffic in Zimbabwe's major cities and enhance the country's economic fortunes.
So if you were to look at the system themselves, to start on the infrastructure, these are very much intelligent cameras. That's the first thing. And the second thing as well, the integration of all these data layers or data infrastructures, automatically the cameras actually have got the ability to capture the picture, the image of the driver themselves, and also it have got an automatic number plate detection system, so it to then embed and integrate all this information through the use of AI, and then on the data centers they will actually be able to see from the 3 layers to then see who is this person, what kind of a vehicle they are driving, who owns the vehicle, and all those things that they've managed to integrate with the Zinara. They've managed to integrate with the...
Stand by for entertainment news. Up next. We now give you some weekend events to look forward to as you wind down your Friday evening.
The stage has been set for the 2025 Chibukune Shamwari Traditional Dance Finals to be held at Muhadi Showgrounds this Saturday. Traditional dance groups will be vying for the $15,000 top prize in the Manicaland capital. And some of the participating groups include Guruve Marimba Stars representing Mashonaland Central, Segunjalo Ma Africa from Bulawayo, Segosila Dance Group from Matebeleland South, and Goromonzi Arts Ensemble from Mashonaland East. Alec Macheso, Ja Preza, and Enzo Ashol shall be performing at the after party. American praise and worship leader Travis Green will usher gospel lovers into a blessed weekend with a show at Celebration Center in Borodale, Harare this evening. He will be supported by local artists Anatoria, Tembalami, and The Unveiled. And his visit to our shores is part of his Travis Made a Way tour. The ritualistic play Song Unburied, which is set to dazzle and captivate audiences at the Edinburgh Festival next month, is currently showing at Harare's Theatre in the Park. The powerful Zimbabwean ritualistic stage play was directed by acclaimed theatre guru Davis Guja. Written by Panashe Chigumadzi, it features performances by Charmaine Mujeri and Delma Chiuevera alongside Tinevimbo Chimbetete and Mbira player Abel Mafuleni. Josfat Somanje, the co-founder of Pengaudzoke, will be in action at Wera's Gardens in Glenview this evening. He will be sharing the stage with Mutare-bound Alec Macheso.
It's surely going to be a great and cozy weekend. Stand by for sports news. In sports, Zimbabwe play Namibia in the final of the 2025 Rugby Africa Cup in Nambole, Uganda this Saturday, with the winner qualifying for the 2027 Rugby World Cup 2027 in Australia. While Namibia have been ever present at the Rugby World Cup since their debut in 1999, the Sebos have failed to qualify since the last of their two tournament appearances in 1999.
Namibia are a very tough opponent. I mean, throughout history, they probably had it over Zimbabwe and the Sables. So it's up to us to really step up and to challenge them. They're the current, let's say, the holders of going to World Cup. They haven't lost a qualifying tournament for over 30 years. So it's up to us to go and take something away from somebody, and to do that, we need to do something special.
I mean, we know that they're a quality team, and they've shown that over the years. But for us, we've always said since we got to the start of this tournament that we just wanted to focus on ourselves, take each game as a final, and we've definitely done that. For us this week, as I said, was just about preparing ourselves to be in the right mindset, for the bodies to be physically right, for us to be on point for tomorrow.
The Sebos coach Pete Bennett has made two changes to the starting 15 that beat Kenya in the semi-final last weekend. Godfrey Muzanago moves to the second row to replace the injured Kofi Nyakufaringwa, while Dylan Utete starts ahead of AF Aiden Bennett. Bennett says they have ticked all the boxes and are looking forward to making the nation proud.
I think the main thing was restoring, like national pride actually. So making people proud of the rugby team is a goal of every coach, and it's, I think everybody strives to do that. The boys they want our citizens to be proud of us, and so they understand that there's a bigger thing to play for than just themselves. We're very proud of the effort and the achievements of the squad up to this point, reaching a second consecutive final and earning a shot at qualification. Takes a lot of doing. So we've done that part, and now there's one more step to take.
For this weekend's losing team, the dream of appearing at the RWC 2027 is not entirely over. The runner-up will play the United Arab Emirates next weekend in the Asia-Africa playoff for a spot at the final qualification tournament in November. We spoke to rugby analyst Ruvimbo Chakoreka, who highlighted the potential financial windfall that would happen with World Cup qualification.
So I think what is important for us to understand, particularly as Zimbabwe, what kind of benefits do we derive? What exactly are we aiming for? Well, first and foremost, a 2027 Rugby World Cup appearance. This would be the first time in 36 years that we would have tasted any Rugby World Cup action. So that is extremely important. But also, there is a windfall of money that will come into the rugby circles if we are to qualify. Now, if we look at our neighbors who we are going to be playing tomorrow in Namibia gets a stipend of $2 million per year from the World Rugby in order to run its rugby, whilst we are still, dipping in $100,000 $100,000 in terms of running our rugby, which is not anywhere near enough if we intend to upscale our coaches, our players, and bring player development. And so it's important for us to win. Once we do win and we go to the World Cup, then ultimately we're looking at a similar amount of money that will be coming for rugby development here in Zimbabwe, which should do a world of good for both men's as well as women's rugby.
Zimbabwe lost to New Zealand by 8 wickets in the third match of the T20 International Tri-Series at Harare Sports Club today. Batting first, the Chevrons made 120 for 7 in 20 overs. Wesley Madevere top scored with 36, while Matt Henry was the pick of the bowlers. In reply, the Black Caps cruised to 122 for 2 in just 13.5 overs. Devon Conway top scored with an unbeaten 59 as the Chevrons bowlers struggled to find a breakthrough. Trevor Gwandu and Tinotenda Maposa picked up a wicket each, but up next, the Chevrons play South Africa on Sunday at Harare Sports Club. Dynamos will be hoping for a third win over log leaders Zimbabwe when the two sides meet at Wadzanai this weekend, after having defeated them in the Castle Challenge Cup and in the reverse fixture at Rufaro. We get more in the following report.
Dynamos' search for a third win of the season leads them to Wadzanai in Shamva, where they go up against log leaders Zimbabwe. Dynamos head coach Socha Minuka predicts a tough outing for his charges as they face a side that is unbeaten in 9 games.
A very, very difficult game, especially away there at Wadzanai. But I want to think the boys are ready. I have the experience that when you play the so-called team of teams of the moment, every team ups its game. I've never played at Wadzanai. It will be my first visit to Shamva, and I hope it will be a good visit, one that is going to be giving us something to smiling at.
Despite being in the drop zone, Chaminuka believes their fate in the top flight is not sealed yet, as they will now treat every game as a final.
We have spoken and we are agreed as a team that we are going to fight and we are going to come out of relegation. We are not relegated yet. There is plenty of points playing for, and we haven't panicked yet. And I'm sure Wadzanai game being the first, as I talk to you now, is one that we are targeting to turning around our situation.
The Premier Soccer League enters match day 21 this weekend, with Mo's welcoming FC Platinum to Ngoni. Cape United go up against 2-1, whilst Highlanders travel to the capital to face Scotland in some of the standout fixtures this weekend.
Third placed Telwan are back in the capital tomorrow, where they play Cape United at Rufaro Stadium. The match will be live on ZTN Prime. The Wi-Fi boys are unbeaten in their last 6 matches, with their most recent win a 1-0 win over Dynamos at Ascot last weekend. Going into the match against the Green Machine, Telwan head coach Herbert Marua is looking to build on their recent positive performances, and says they are not intimidated by playing in front of a passionate Cape United home crowd.
Another big game. Last weekend we played another big game. We managed to collect maximum points. Again, we're playing one of the biggest clubs in Zimbabwe. Cape United recently, they are doing well, and they are a new coach from Zambia. But there's still one. We are not taking this game lightly. We need to make sure we go there with a positive mind and get the 3 points. The moral in the game is...
Ngezi Platinum Stars chairman Leonard Musariri is hoping to improve the Premier Soccer League's operation by promoting synergies should he get elected as chairman of the league. Ahead of the election set for the 25th of this month, Musariri is confident that a policy change and sound engagement can unlock new levels for the PSL.
And this is my time to come in with the new ZIFA coming in with its own strategies and try and realign PSL to ZIFA wherever possible, and making sure that we move together. Because for as long as there is antagonism between ZIFA, PSL and the government, and there is no synergization within those institutions, there is no way football will succeed. But PSL being the flag bearers, ZIFA will depend on PSL. And I think I'm the right person to then lead the PSL at this moment where it is almost at the darkest moment.
Well, that concludes our news bulletin. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsplus. My name is Francisca Msheche. Have a pleasant weekend.
Listen, gather around. Okay, I saw
Cublo Vibes.